Porch show. We'll have a laugh or two. Big smiles from me and you. Hello, hello.
Front Porch Show.
Good to go.
Front Porch Show.
Hello, hello. We're good to go on with the Front Porch Show. Here's Donnie.
Live from Cadzow Park in St. Mary's by the Seat of Our Pants Productions is proud to present the Front Porch Show with John Stevens. This is Don Van Galen along with the piano man Frank St. Germain, inviting you to join John and his guests, curlers Amie, Shackleton, and David St. Louis. Artist Nancy Plummer. Special musical guest Flywheel. Along with our regular Maggie Richardson and community calendar, another episode of Alternative Facts, and of course, Belle the Wonder Dog.
We'll have a laugh or two. Big smiles from me and you. Hello, hello.
Front Porch Show.
We're good to go.
Front Porch Show.
Hello, hello. We're good to go on with the Front Porch Show.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's John. Okay, welcome everybody. Who's here for the very, very, very first time? Good stuff. Okay, hope you're back. We got, how many more shows after this, Don? One or two. One or two? I think a few more. Anyways, and who's here from St. Mary's? Let's hear you. Yay! Yay! Okay, is anybody here from someplace else? Shout it out. Yay! No.
Where's that?
Where's yay?
Yay!
Is anybody else from someplace out of town?
Somewhere.
London? Brandon?
Stratford.
Fantastic. Stratford, wonderful. Anybody farther away?
Sudbury.
Oh,
Whoa,
shucks.
Sudbury! I love it, that place.
Sudbury Saturday night.
Yeah.
Okay, we have some international people watching us, and if you are watching internationally, put a little note and we'll mention you next show. These are the people who were checked in last show. We had Percy Innes from St. John's, Newfoundland. We had Kate from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Whoa.
Whoa!
Chris Cumming, he did it from the Tampa airport.
What else is there to do in Tampa?
I don't know. And we have our regular, this guy's been on since day one, I think. Rich Miller. Rich, I know you're watching now, because you're always watching. He's from a place called Glendora, California.
Ouch.
And people say, where's Glendora?
Here, I'll tell you where it is.
We got someone from Markham.
California, here I come. Right back where I Glendora from.
Okay, fantastic. Now, we have also Kubra Erdogan. Erdogan, she's from Istanbul, Turkey. Erdogan.
Istanbul used to be Constantinople.
Okay.
Constantinople.
When the moon hits your eyes like a big pizza pie, that's Elma. What's his name?
Erdogan?
Erdogan.
Okay. Anyway, she has a dog called Yakut, and Yakut wants to be a pen pal with
Belle.
Belle.
How
And
much
Kaylee
is
is,
that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail.
And we also have Jada, I know she's always watching from Istanbul. We have Brian Jenkins from Red Hill in England. Any songs for Red Hill?
England swings like a pendulum do. Bobby's on bicycles 2x2. Westminster Abbey, the Tower Big Ben. The rosy red cheeks of the little England.
And then we have a final people. I know they're watching because they said they would watch tonight. We have David and Ann Winkler, and I'm not sure if it's Maury or Moray. What do you think, Frank?
When the moon hits your eyes, that's amore,
Oh,
amore,
it's Amore.
I like that song.
Anyways, they're from Minneapolis, St. Paul, or St. Paul, Minneapolis. I don't know which one comes first. So there we go. There's our international crowd. And if you're watching internationally, please drop us a line and let us know that you're watching from wherever in the world. I think, Don, we go to alternate facts now, right?
Sure, we can have alternate facts. Ladies and gentlemen, I need my contestants down here.
do this handheld so I can make sure that.
Wow, look at
All
that. Hot,
right.
This is hot.
Yeah. Now, no harassing the guests here.
Okay.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to introduce our guest here, ma'am.
Gail,
Gail, where are you from?
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. Is this your first time to Front Porch Show, Gail?
No, I've been here all the time. Everyone.
And you keep coming back.
I keep coming back.
All right. And you, ma'am?
Lenore from St. Mary's a year ago last Saturday.
Wonderful.
Anniversary.
Wonderful. All right. Well, since you're such loyal fans, obviously it's time to reward your efforts here and invite you to join us as contestants in alternate facts. So I have a little bit of a story for you here, and I'm going to ask you to determine whether or not it is true, or as Mr. Trump likes to say, it's an alternate fact. All right. So right now we're standing in the historic Cadzow Park. And if you don't believe me, you can read it up there on the sign there. This is historic Cadzow Park. And the audience here is currently sitting in what was a pool a couple of years ago. I'm sure some of them wish they were right now. It's a little bit warm. Last week was just tremendously warm, but we can always go for the splash pad later on if you're still a little bit overheated. But obviously this park has been around a long time, and its name goes back to 1920s when it was called Cadzow Park. It was land that was owned by one of St. Mary's earliest settlers, George Tracy, who owned the home up there. They called it Castle on the Woods, one of the most prestigious homes of its day in the 1850s, and became our museum. The park was called Cadzow Park after a Scottish estate way over on the other side of the ocean there. So, unfortunately, of course, this park has not been without its controversy. And I'm not just talking about, whether we take out a pool and put in a splash pad, or, what kind of swings or other facilities we have here. And hey, we've done a great job here. I think council should get a throw of a hand on that one. Anyway, and it wasn't just council, of course, staff did a tremendous job doing the design. Anyway, when it comes to controversy, Cadzow Park has had a few over the years. I can remember growing up here in the 50s, well, pardon me, the 60s, the 60s, And in fact, I lived right up the street here, so swimming here and all kinds of other activities. Some of them nocturnal, and some of them, decided to go for a swim when it wasn't, always scheduled, and they didn't exactly have their bathing suits with them, but it didn't seem to matter too much. So that became a bit of an issue, for people at the time, and then, but one even preceding that was back in the 30s, and of course, this is Depression era, right? And back in Great Britain, there was a bit of a wave of anti-Scottish sentiment going on because the Scots, that thought perhaps, the nationalist feelings were being revved up by the Depression. They thought that they could run things better than England, and that kind of flowed over, into Canada here, and this being a Scottish community, there's a little bit of controversy going on, and people thought, Cadzow doesn't exactly trip off the tongue, it's not a great name for a park. I mean, where else in the world, does anyone have a Cadzow Park, for goodness sake? So there was a bit of a movement back then, to have this place renamed, and of course, as all good thinkers do, they think, well, let's have, something a little bit more patriotic, like, well, at the time, the King of England was named Edward, so they thought Edward Park. Very appropriate name for a British dominated population of the town at the time, and, a bit of a controversy going on there. But then, of course, what happened to Edward? He decided the love was more important than royalty, and he abdicated the throne, and then, that just kind of went away. Or did it? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, is this the truth? Or is it, in fact, an alternate fact? What do you think?
I think it's the truth.
She thinks it's the truth. All right, and Lenora, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, no.
Can't possibly?
No.
Why do you think it doesn't sound true?
It's a long story.
Too long a story? Too long a story? You know, I'm a politician. I'm prone to talk a long time. And you think it's true because?
Well, because I think there could be some, I can't say Cadzow Park. I say it wrong all the time. So
Right.
Edward would have been easier.
Yeah, you should hear my mother try to say it in her Dutch accent. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, your opinion matters here too. Truth or an alternate fact? True? Yeah, a few of you. Alternate fact? Yeah! Oh my goodness, it sounds like the audience is with you. Yeah, Lenore, it sounds like the audience is with you. And of course, we have some lovely prizes here. John, could you pass those along to me? Obviously, one of you is going to be winning one of these fabulous Ford golf shirts. Your choice of color. Don't they look good? You want to pick one out? Well, you shouldn't bother because you didn't win. Lenora wins! Lenora wins! And if you don't like the shirt, we have a ball cap. Yeah, but in fact, the ball cap goes to our second prize winner. And thank you for participating in Alternate Fact. Very John.
I think if you, Lenore, if you go to St. Mary's Ford, let's say on a Thursday, and you see her in that golf shirt, she's going to give you a terrific deal on a car. But it has to be cash, that's all. Okay, we have, courtesy of the St. Mary's Independent, we have Maggie Richardson coming doing community calendar. Let's hear it, Maggie.
Hello everyone, here's your community calendar for the upcoming days. This Thursday night and Friday night, the St. Mary's Army and Navy are hosting their popular
Hi, I'm Frank.
Closer? Okay. The Germain Gardens, and the gardens will be open Saturday night at noon. Next week is an annual Stonetown Heritage Festival. Look for the official event program in next week's edition of The Independent. But here are a few highlights to look forward to. The fun begins at Town Hall on Friday 13th with the official opening ceremonies, followed by a presentation of the Heritage Festival Award to a worthy recipient. At 7:30 p.m. on Friday, a local jazz vocalist, Jennifer Thorup, will take the stage at Town Hall Auditorium along with a talented quartet. Saturday events begin with the St. Mary's Farmers Market at 8 a.m. before the Downtown Heritage Festival gets underway at 9. Look for a variety of vendors, heritage tour buses, and free activities for children. There are so many more things happening during the day on Saturday. It is impossible to list them all during this time, so please take a close look at page 2 of this week's Independent, along with the official Heritage Festival program, which will be included in next week's Independent. Thank you. This will help you plan your Saturday in St. Mary's. At night on Saturday, the second annual Bring Your Own Picnic event, brought to you by the St. Mary's Downtown Merchants, picnickers are invited to gather in downtown St. Mary's beginning at 5 p.m. to enjoy the social community event, which will include games, music, and new this year, live auction of various picnic baskets donated by local restaurants. Proceeds of the auction go to the Salvation Army Food Bank. Other events in St. Mary's on Saturday include the annual Vintage Car Show at St. Mary's Ford, and the car show goes from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and includes live music and the Lions Club Charity Barbecue. For those of you downtown, currency shuttles will be behind M&M Variety every hour on the hour. Another option for Saturday night is the Surf and Turf with Paul Smith at the River Valley Golf Club. Reservations are required for the dinner, which runs from 5 to 7. Or stop by River Valley for a 7 p.m. concert by Harmony of Friends. And that's your St. Mary's Community Calendar for July 8th edition of the Front Porch Show. Have a great week, everybody.
That's the news from St. Mary's.
Okay, wonderful. Our first guest is no stranger to a lot of people in town. And it's Andrea Macko-Hodges. She's going to talk about the Heritage Festival.
I feel alive. I feel alive. Andrea, I feel alive. I'm not going to see you for a while.
I saw you at the post office on Friday.
Because I feel alive.
Okay, Frank, kill it. Okay. Okay, the Heritage Festival, as I say, is one of my favorite weekends in St. Mary's, and we have a particularly good one. And so Andrea's here to talk to you about it. What edition is this thing? Is this one?
This is the 23rd edition.
23rd, so it's almost the 25th. Okay, great. What are some of the popular attractions that are going to be returning this year?
Popular returning attractions. Everything you know and love about Saturday at the Heritage Festival is back this year. Starting with the Farmers Market, they'll have their delicious pancake breakfast. Then progressing to Queen Street for bouncy castles, face painting, featured entertainment from the Canadian champion of magic at 1 o'clock, and a hula hoop artist. She has 2 performances. What else happens on the street? There's vendors, there's free kids activities, everything is free. And then of course the bring your own picnic at 5, followed by the street dance, and then the fireworks.
And so lots happening on the street. That's good. You've added some new events this year. Tell me about them.
The newness begins on Friday night. We are actually going back to an old idea. About 10 years ago, we used to have an official opening ceremony and concert in the Cenotaph Park. We're doing that again this year. However, we're doing it in the auditorium at Town Hall. So we'll have that. And then we will have a licensed concert. So that's new. A licensed event for the Heritage Festival, featuring our local, very talented jazz vocalist, Jennifer Thorpe, and she'll have a quartet with her. So that will be a great night. She hasn't performed in St. Mary's too often, and especially on stage. I think she's done a few garden parties, but this will be something special.
So the town hall has a capacity, right?
It sure does, and there's still a few tickets available.
And where do you get them?
You can order them for free. That's very important that these tickets are free, but you do need to reserve them. If you go to eventbrite.ca and search Fix Your Friday Night, you'll find it. Or you can give me a call or email, and I will happily put some aside for you.
Oh, great. Okay, so, and again, it's free, so can't get better than that.
You have to pay for your drinks, though.
Oh, yeah, of course. I tell you, you'd be sold out if you didn't.
Party of one.
It's important to have something for everybody. How kid-friendly is this?
Oh, the festival is very kid-friendly. If you've been on the Saturday, you know it's immensely... It's just all about children on Saturday. Although something I forgot to add that is new, but is also kid-friendly, is Milt Dunnell Field is kind of a new location for the festival. The Upper Thames Conservation Authority is doing a Watery Wonders interactive exhibit for children to learn about what happens in the river and what grows in the river, so that should be interesting. And then the big thing at the flats this year is the stand-up paddleboarding lessons, which we're very excited to offer for free, but they're for ages 10 and up.
And there's also a sack race or something somewhere?
Yes, Snapping Turtle Coffee Roasters approached us about doing not potato sack races, but coffee sack races. Yes. So that is happening at Linda Park, which, for those of you who don't know the official name of the park, that's the park at Jones and Church Street.
And it's not just for kids, it's for adults as well.
It's for everyone.
Okay, it should be good. Okay, now music is an important part of the festival, and we've already talked about Jennifer Thorpe. Give us a rundown of also what's happening musically.
Well, Saturday during the day, we'll have the talented students from World's Coolest Music Store and Deepwater's Music performing. I believe the performance times are roughly 9:30 till 11:30, and then Deepwater's students are playing from 3 till 4. And if you're a family member, grandparent, friend, I'm sure you'll receive a personal invite to watch.
And who's the headliner for the evening?
Yes, the street dance. Headliner is Darcy John Sherman, who is a local boy made good, as they like to say.
And he's here somewhere.
He was here.
He's not here? Put your hand up. You here?
He was here.
Disappeared. Okay.
He does exist. His first single is starting to burn up the airwaves, so that's very exciting. If you've seen it on It's been shared quite a bit on Facebook. It's called Hunt. So you'll be able to hear that song and many others live on next Saturday night during the street dance.
Okay, so last year they started to bring your own picnic, and that was quite successful. And it's going to be bigger and better. You can also buy a meal from several restaurants. Can you give an idea of some of the restaurants and what some of the things they're offering?
I can give you the entire list thanks to this handy poster. So, the participating restaurants are Jenny's Kitchen Smidgen, For Happy, Little Red's, Stacy's Pizza, Stonetown Coffee, Suki Lee's, and the Town and Country Cheese Shop. They're making special picnic meals for that night. And I believe most of them you do need to reserve in advance. It will make their evenings flow much easier if you order ahead.
And Maggie talked about the new twist at 5 o'clock. What's happening with that?
Yes, our mayor, Al Strathby, will be auctioning off, I believe it's 10 very special picnic baskets at 5 o'clock, with the proceeds going to the food bank here in town. So great cause, and that should be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and you say, you go support the local restaurants. They've really got good deals for you, good lunches at a very reasonable price. An event doesn't happen like this without the participation of many. Who are people who have helped along the way? Some of the clubs or service clubs?
Service clubs. Well, the festival wouldn't be the festival without the fireworks on Saturday night, and that, of course, is a Rotary contribution to the project. And if you were impressed by last year's Canada 150 fireworks display, the Rotary Club has generously offered to essentially spend the same amount they did last year to have an equally fantastic show. So that will be very exciting. The Kinsman Club is sponsoring the paddle boarding. I'll have a look at our sponsor sheet here, just so that you know what I'm holding up here. This is the official program that will be in next week's Independent. I also have brought a number of copies with me now, if you'd like yours in advance to peruse all that's going on. But on the back, there's a list, and a very extensive list of sponsors this year. A lot of great local generosity that without them, the festival would not happen because it is fully sponsored by donors. So that's important to note. And as for other people who help, there's so many volunteers that step forward the day of that their help is greatly appreciated. A lot of town staff help run events the day of as well. So it's a real community effort.
And we're hoping for great weather, great crowds. Give us a recap again, when the Heritage Festival starts, when it ends, when it's finally finished.
The finally finished.
Yeah.
The opening ceremony concert begins Friday, July 13th. It's a very auspicious date, but don't let it scare you off. At 7:30 at the Town Hall Auditorium. The street festival portion runs from roughly 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. on Saturday. Then we transition for a little bit into the Bring Your Own Picnic at 5 till 7. Then the street dance begins at 7 with opening act Rooster in the Hen House. Darcy goes on at 7:30. He'll play till about 9, and then we'll transition to the fireworks that begin at dusk.
Okay, thank you, Andrew, for coming in and telling us about the Heritage Festival.
My pleasure. Thanks,
Okay,
John.
hey, we're going to go to commercial one. Don, who's up for commercial number one?
Well, I don't know about you, John, but ever since June 7th, I've been hearing a lot about Ford Nation. And I guess we're going to hear some more tonight.
Hey, Don, just before we do this, before Andrea leaves, Don and I have a quick song here for you, okay?
Of course.
There is a house in St. Mary's they call the Hodges home. One day we'll all be there, and I hope Donnie and I and John Stevens are never alone. Thanks, Andrea. You're beautiful.
Sorry, I didn't quite get the words on that in advance. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Mike Kokonowski, co-owner of St. Mary's Ford. We've been serving St. Mary's in area for the past 33 years. This here to my right is Doug Bieber. He's our service manager. Doug, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Thanks. Hey, my name's Doug Bieber. I'm the service manager at St. Mary's Ford. I want you all to come on in. John, you're a customer there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
John sometimes comes and eats our cupcakes and stuff, right?
Yes, I come in. If you ever want, here's a trick. If you haven't got money for a coffee, always go into a car service area. You can always get a free coffee. They don't know if you're getting your car fixed. Just do it.
Yeah. Really, oddly enough, we always use the same cup for John. Right? So anyway, yeah, we're very community involved, and come on out to our car show next weekend. We've got a car show with in connection with the Heritage Festival, and hope you guys enjoy the night. Right on, thanks.
Okay.
John, you told me that Justin Bieber was going to be on the show tonight.
I didn't know. I said just 3 Biebers.
Just 3 Biebers.
Just
well, that's
3
only
Biebers.
one.
There's 2 more.
There's 2 more
And
coming?
two other guys. Yeah, it's going to work out.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
well, I
keep
know
my
a
promise.
lot of people in Stratford, eh?
Yeah, but
a lot of city councilors, they come up to me and they brag on Justin, and I say, no, I'm from St. Mary's. I don't have to pretend to like Justin Bieber.
I like them.
Baby, baby, baby.
Anyways,
baby, baby.
stop.
You said more banter, John.
More banter. Okay, let's banter with Amie, Shackleton, and David St. Louis. We have the privilege in St. Mary's that this could be a record. I don't know of any town in Canada that's had 2 peoples at curling national championships. So,
Boil me to the boil.
oh, we have a young curler here. Well, welcome. Yeah, again, 2 people from St. Mary's. You've ever heard of 2 people from any town in Canada, or city even, from the same town or city going to both the Scotties and the Briar?
I'm sure it's happened somewhere before, but probably not representing Nunavut.
No. And some people say, I'll have none of it. Anyways, how did 2 people from St. Mary's end up on a Nunavut team? And David, we'll start with you.
Sure. Well, I lived in Cadzow, Nunavut for 16 years, and this was the first year that Nunavut got an entry into the Scotties and the Briar a direct entry. And I got a call from some old friends to come back up to try and qualify to go to the Briar, and lucky enough to win.
Okay, fantastic. Now, Amie, your story is a bit different.
My story is quite different, absolutely.
Tell us about it.
Quite frankly, I'm not sure if it was Dave or Carla's idea, but the ladies that had qualified from Iqaluit were looking for an import to come in and skip for them. And
A ringer.
apparently. And I was walking through Walmart and saw my phone had Carla's name on it, and I'm like, oh, I knew she was away. And well, this is serious. I better call her back. So I called her back, and she's like, hey, how's it going? Do you want to play at the Scotties? So, sure.
And so was your disregard basically shocked?
Absolute shock, yeah. And we had a trip to Disney planned, so I'm like, well, when is it? I'm not sure if I can make it work. And so it took a little bit of time to figure out if it was going to work or not.
So both of you were on television. Have you ever been to the Nationals before?
I haven't been to the Briar, but I represented Northern Ontario at the Canadian Juniors some time ago.
Some time ago. Okay, we won't say how long ago. And so you're on television. Did that affect your curling at all? Were you nervous?
No. The one thing that I noticed at the Scotties was that was one of the big things that scared me was all the TVs and the camera guys. And quite frankly, you never knew that they were taking your picture or filming you. There was lots of times I'd go after the game and I'd look at Facebook and I'd be like, oh, really? Like, that was on TV? They were fantastic. It was quite easy. There was hardly any times that you really felt them in your face.
So it sort of prepared you for the Front Porch show, which is going internationally.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Great. What about you, David?
Well, I had a bit of a faux pas the first day on television. So they mic every skip that's on the ice, although you're not the TV game. They show highlights, and they were showing a highlight of one of my shots that was coming around the guard and just touched it. And I happened to swear on national TV, and of course my Facebook and Twitter lit up, as you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, okay. What was your most memorable moment of the week?
For me, it was simple. We had the ladies team had very simple goals, and when we scored our first point, and you knew the fans were cheering for you. But when we scored that first point, it was a draw against 5. We had to hit the 4-foot, and the entire arena erupted. I just get chills thinking about it. It was pretty cool.
Well, I think a lot of St. Mary's people were following you too, because were you aware of how much the town was following you back here?
I knew it, and I tried. One of the things in the guide they had said was to stay off of social media.
Yeah.
It was a little overwhelming, so I would sneak on and check in to see what everyone was doing. But it was pretty intense. I knew it was
yeah.
big.
Yeah, good. What about you?
I have two. I lost 6-3 to Northern Ontario. It was a great game in our opinion. He has a gold medal and a world championship in his pocket, and I thought we played really well that game. And the other one was we were obligated to do an interview session or an autograph session, and I was slightly late getting to the table, and I couldn't believe that there was 100 deep waiting for our autograph. I just couldn't believe it.
Okay. What are some of the challenges of teams from the north, though?
I'll let Dave take this one.
Okay, so it's practice and it's competition. When you go out there, we're from Nunavut, we're representing Nunavut. We know we're not going to win. We know we may not even win a game, but we're not alone. If you don't play on the tour, you're not part of the top 10 teams in Canada. You really don't have a hope. And it's not only Nunavut that knows that. It's Quebec. It's New Brunswick. So it's the playing the competition. They're literally just too good.
Yeah. And you're virtually really playing against professionals as an amateur. The top people, they're at it every weekend. They make big prizes. They make big money. Correct?
They do.
How much would a top curler make?
Well, the Briar pays close to $80,000
to the winning team.
To the winning team.
Oh, okay.
And totally, like Brad Gushu probably makes about 200.
Okay, 1,000.
Yeah, that's a team prize.
Yeah.
But still, that's not a bad wage for doing what you really love. So you can see that the competition is indeed very good. What's the importance of being there then? You know you're going to lose pretty well, and
they're part of Canada. Nunavut, the territories, all those provinces are part of Canada, and they should have the same right as every other team to play for the nationals.
So when you threw your first rock, Amie, what were you thinking?
Stay on your feet.
That's very similar. A little shaky.
Okay, and how good are the best? Like, I'm not a curler. Every time I curled, I just ended spread eagle on the ice. But how much better are the best? How could you compare it to somebody?
Their miss is probably within 2 inches, whereas we're at times 6 feet. We're calling it a made shot. When we played Team Canada, the scoreboard was terrible. We played awesome, but the scoreboard was awful. But that third, I can't remember her name, Cameron, she made double. Like, she could see 2 inches of the rock and was making double after double, and it was crazy. And Michelle Unglot was just, they're on fire.
And you'd never met your team when you got up.
No.
And you knew the guys.
I knew our players.
You knew players, but I'm sure that was a bit of an impediment. But you knew nobody, right?
No.
And how did you bond with them?
They're awesome ladies. They're easy to get to know. They told me they were coming in when they were going to get to the hotel, so I sat in the lounge and I went down and gave them a hug, and then we had to go do team shots. So we were right into the fire pretty quick.
So what's the takeaway from both of you being here for St. Mary's and area?
Curling's a fantastic sport. Absolutely anybody can play. I see one of our members up there, he plays with a stick. We got some young curlers as young as Kenzie can curl. Anyone of any ability, and I'm fortunate that I've been able to play so many competitions that I can go across Ontario and probably know somebody in a different city, and the friendships and the friendship that you build playing the sport is pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, if you need a winter sport, you can commit 1 night a week, 2 hours of your time, and come out and just get to know people. It's a pretty good sport.
And I know the after curl
you
is
have
always
to.
fun.
Yeah, of course.
That's why I went curling, for the after curl. We saw in the Olympics the mixed mixed doubles for the first time. Have you two ever thought of doing mixed doubles, or at least going into a tournament
Have
together?
you ever seen Dave or I sweep?
Yeah, I'm too old for that mixed double stuff. You got to rub them up and down the ice chasing that rock.
We have a mixed doubles league here in St. Mary's. When mixed doubles started, we put together a league, so we've got a fairly decent league here in St. Mary's. It's definitely a young person's game, but
So it's ideal for me.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you think you'll be called back to play for Nunavut in the future, either of you? Or?
I've been asked to go back to try and qualify.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm going to do it, but going to the Briar was a dream come true, and I may just leave it at that.
Okay. Amie, final words?
I have to talk to Dave and Carl a little bit. There was some chatter at the end of the year, or like at the end of the week, so hopefully we can maybe put it together a little bit again for next year.
Okay, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Now we're going into commercial number 2. Don, tell us about it.
Yeah, well, after our rock stars here, you know, I was standing there and I checked out my nails, John. They're a mess. You know, I was doing some work, you know, install the door and whack my hand with it. I think I need some help here. I think I need some help because when I go to the spa, I want to sit down and get my nails taken care of by Carrie McIntosh. And she's from Nail Effects.
Okay, you can nail it, baby.
Oh, come on, Frank. Cut it to the quick.
Nail it, baby.
Hello. Thanks for calling Nail Effects. It's Carrie speaking. Yes, we do provide manicures and pedicures in St. Mary's, and we've been in service for almost 20 years. All of our employees at Nail Effects are certified nail technicians, and we follow all the Perth Health District Health Unit's guidelines. Welcome to St. Mary's. I'm really glad that you heard about us. We'd love for you to come into our store. Yes, our hours are Tuesday and Friday, 9 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday, 9 to 7, and Saturdays, 9 to 1. When would you like to come in for an appointment? Yes, we use all of OPI's nail polishes. We find that they are very durable and great. Of course your husband can come too. We have an ever-growing male clientele that really do enjoy getting their nails trimmed. Yes, they do enjoy the massage too, I bet. They don't tell us that though, do they? Okay, so you're booked for next Wednesday at 11. We look forward to seeing you then.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Some of you have been around St. Mary's and seen in some of the coffee shops and things the art of this next person, and I really love it. We have a piece in our house, and her name's Nancy Plummer. Come on up, Nancy. Have a seat.
There we go. That's right up there.
Whoa.
I've never talked into a mic before.
Well, now you have. Now you can say you have. Okay, how would you describe your artwork?
Playful, whimsical, fun.
Yeah, Don, could you maybe get a piece of artwork and when she's describing it, show what it means? Something that's playful and whimsical. There you go, that's the one. So you've never seen Nancy's artwork. Here's what she does. What do you use for your artwork?
It's mixed media. There's paper mache. There's all the little houses are driftwood that I've collected off of Lake Huron, Lake Erie. Acrylic paint, watercolor. The landscape is all like I said, paper mache, and it's made on barnwood.
Yeah, so if you have a barn you're taking down,
Yeah.
you want to know what to do with the wood, this is the person you get it to. So when did you start doing this?
Between 6 and 7 years ago.
And why?
I've always had a love for driftwood, and I was collecting these little pieces of wood. I had no idea what I was going to do with them. I just held on to them, and then I went on some website, and some guy, it wasn't driftwood, but he had collected these pieces and he turned them into houses, and I thought that's what I could do with my little pieces. And then I have a love for paper mache, so I thought, well, I'll put the two together and do landscapes. And
And what's the process of making each piece? How do you come up with the inspiration?
I have an active imagination. Photographs, nature, even music inspires me.
And I know you do work when you meet with the people, you interview them, because that's what you did with us, and incorporated some of the things we wanted to do in ours.
Right.
And you even put us in your picture.
Yes.
So even if you want to be in one of our art pieces, you can do it. Except I'm a bit thinner than I think that you portrayed me, but still that's okay. Okay. On the average, how long does it take to produce a piece of work?
I've never timed it because I go from piece to piece. I might spend a couple days on one, and then I'll move on to the next one. And with the paper mache, it takes like 3 days to dry, so you can't. Well, yeah, you could be working on little pieces, but there's pieces to carve, hand paint.
And is it difficult to do?
Well, with the carving, it can, because I just use a utility knife, and I use a precision, what's that thing called? A sander, precision sander, to get the pieces, and then trying to fit it all together.
Okay. Don, can you show us a few more of the pieces? These are smaller ones. And as you can see, they're quite colorful.
This is one of my favorites.
Oh, I love it. It is.
It's called,
you know what my favorite is? One we have, but still.
Oh, no, this is the one.
No, for me.
Oh, this one's called When Cats Walk the Earth. I know you can't see it from way back there, but if you want to check it out later, there's little cats on the roof, in front of the doorways. What else is in there? On the clothesline. And this is all paper mache down here. The little bushes are paper mache.
Good. And Don, what's that one there?
That is my favorite. That's got a sailboat on it.
Oh, okay. But see,
old friend.
So Nancy will put whatever you want on it. Well, not whatever you want, I guess.
Well, yeah, I'll do a sketch for you, and then I'll email it back, and you say yay or nay, and we go from there.
And how does one get a piece of your art?
They can. It's not updated. It's been a year. They can go on my Facebook fan page. It's called, or you look up at Downright Whimsical, all one word. And the at, the little...
Yeah, ampersand.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And, or my email address, which is the.cowgirl@hotmail.com.
Right, okay. And you're also up in Bayfield, am I correct?
Yes, yeah, at Shared Time.
So you can go up there, and a lot of your works are displayed up there?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And you started branching out into other media now?
Watercolor.
Yeah, and... Did you bring any examples of your watercolor? Don, could you get the watercolor?
Come on, Don, do a little bit.
Am I getting another raise, John? All this extra
Yeah,
work?
double what
Double
you
the
get.
salary
Double the
again?
salary,
Yeah. That's,
We've been
that's
through that
worked out so
before,
well.
Don.
Yeah.
This one is, this is a boat.
Now, have you had any training for this? Or just
No, it's all self-taught.
Self-taught. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, come down after the show if you want to have a look at our arts, because I know it's a bit far. We have this vast audience that reaches out into forever, but it's good. Yeah. And
and this is one of my. I'm into streetscapes now.
There we go.
St. Mary's.
Yeah, perfect.
okay, you'll recognize that. Yeah, and that one should. Are these ones that are for sale right now?
These I'm keeping. This one's for sale.
That one's for sale. So the St. Mary's Streetscape is for sale. It's beautiful, lots of color. Okay, so again, where can people see your artwork, and how do they get one?
Facebook, my Facebook fan page, which is at Downright Whimsical, all one word, or my email address, the.cowgirl@hotmail.com.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for bringing your artwork in, Nancy, and let's.
Thank
you very much. Tom, we have another commercial. Who's up?
Well, I don't know about you, John, but as much as they did a great job with everything, the grass is starting to look a little shabby around here. I think it's time
for
Joe for Hire.
Joe for Hire.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Joe for Hire Lawn Care Services. I'm located right here in St. Mary's. I'm excited to be back on the Front Porch Show. This is my first appearance in the Cadzow. Oh, there we go. At the Cadzow Park. They've done a great job with that. Basically, you can find me in my red truck driving through town, cutting lawns. I do edging, hedge trimming, leaf removal. I do the odd junk removal too. No pianos or refrigerators, but but yeah, there's something for everyone through Joe for Hire. You can find me on social media. I'm on Joe for Hire on Facebook group. I'm on Google My Business, and I'm on YouTube under Joe for Hire. So not too bad for a guy who grew up during the 70s and the early 80s. So anyways, hope everyone's enjoying the Front Porch Show, and enjoy the night. Thank you.
Okay, this next group, I first heard them when we won the FM 96 contest, and they just sort of took over the stage, I think, and to do a number, and they were so good that the guys asked them to do a couple more. So here they are, Flywheel.
Alright, so the first song we're going to play for you today is our third original. We recorded in Mitchell at Skyline Studios with Dustin Smith. He's a great guy. If you're ever thinking about recording music, you should go talk to him. And yeah, he's a great guy and really knows what he's doing. So.
We'll be right back.
Flywheel. Okay, who's the spokesperson here? Just get your names.
I'm Jerry Bieber.
A Bieber, okay, thank you.
I'm Anthony.
Anthony what? Okay, thank you.
Cormac Wheeler.
Yeah, you're a bit tuckered out from all that movement, that's great.
And I'm that last Bieber, I'm Jacob.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, you got a couple other numbers for us, right?
Yep.
Okay, go to it. Flywheel.
Alright, this one's Slither by Velvet. It's our first one we recorded. We again recorded it with Dustin Smith at Skyline Studios in Mitchell. He's a great guy. So we tend to do a lot of business with him every time.
Okay, that's Flywheel. Thank you very much for coming in, guys. Let's talk about next week's show. It features a couple of things that I can tell you right now. We have confirmed Walt Kachuk, former NHL great. He's coming in to talk about his career and his life now. And then we have Darcy John is going to come around and talk about his success in Nashville.
Hey, John, you play a little guitar, don't you?
A little.
A little. Yeah, I mean, these guys probably could use some acoustic guitar to go along with those licks, eh?
They probably.
What do you think, Frank?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll compete with you. I'll bring my guitar next time. We'll see what we can do it.
We'll bit of dueling banjos.
They won't even hear us.
I don't think so. What amazes me about
which
this
is probably good.
What amazes me about St. Mary's is the amount of talent we have of all genres of music in this town. And no matter who you are, this town is becoming a very musical place. So let's hear for all the people that play in St. Mary's. And on the Front Porch Show, we're going to basically be trying to showcase all the types of groups we have in St. Mary's, all the different kinds of music, and we got a few more shows to go. I guess it's time to wind her down here, Frank, with Home St. Mary's.
Well, you know something? That band was real good. How about a nice hand for Flywheel? These are young guys, man. And, you know, I was willing, I was ready to listen to their version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
You guys know this song? I don't know if you guys know this song or not.
It's called Home St. Mary's, okay? Let's do a little bit
Frank
of a
Sings
different...
Germain original.
This is a 360 from what we just heard. I was born in Ontario, a place to stand, a place to grow. From Pickle Lake to Point Pelee, no place I'd rather be than my hometown they call Stone Town. Prettiest town for miles around. Little false life, people share smiles, treat you like family. Here we go. Home St. Mary's, St. Mary's home to me. Home St. Mary's, St. Mary's home to me. I can't count the time I've been amazed God is great. I was led to this special place. It's quite a mystery, where anyone can be your friend, and farmers' fields they never end, and through it all flows the mighty Thames. What a sight to see. Come on, let's hear it on a Sunday night. Home, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. It's my home, St. Mary's, St. Mary's home to me. Come on. Home, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. Oh, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. Can you clap along? Behind me many miles on old highways, on dusty trails. When times got tough, when all else failed, I knew where I should be. Back in my hometown they call Stone Town, prettiest town for miles around. Little falls life, people share smiles, living in harmony. Show the world how they go. Home, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. Oh, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. A little louder. Oh, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. It's my home, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. One more time. Oh, St. Mary, come on. St. Mary's home to me. Ho, ho, St. Mary's, St. Mary's home to me. One more time. Home, St. Mary's, St. Mary's home to me. It's my home, St. Mary's, St. Mary's home to me. Oh, home, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. Oh, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. It's my home, St. Mary, St. Mary's home to me. God bless you. Thank you for coming to the Front Porch Show.
Good night, St. Mary. See you next week.
Front Porch Show. There you go, babe.